Since the launch of Killer Instinct 2013, we've received 3 different seasons of content. The one that had me the most anticipated was Season 3, which introduced 3 Xbox guest characters into Ultratech's tournament. Today, I finally get to rank more guest characters of one of my favorite video games of all time, from the worst to the best. Good morning, afternoon, and happy birthday, Dad. My name is Nick, and
Combo Breaker!
If you're new, Tiger punch that subscribe button to join the Whack Pack today, and to stay tuned for some killer content. Today, we'll be ranking each of the 3 guest characters introduced into Killer Instinct Season 3, those being RASH, Arbiter, and General Rum. Unlike my Mortal Kombat guest character ranking, I'll be ranking each of these characters differently, and they'll be judged differently based on different criteria. I'll break down each character in release order and then rank at the end, similar to what Don Krennic does with his rank and reviews. Go check his work out after you're done with this video, by the way. Here's how I'll be ranking each of the guest fighters from KI. First, based on how well they fit in the universe, their musical track and how awesome I think it is, their ultra combo, and just how fun I think they are as a character. Just a big heads up, this is not a ranking based on who you should play competitively, so don't think of this as a tier list. These are just my opinions of who I think fits KI the best and who I think is the most fun overall. With those rules established, get your energy swords, grab your big knife, and put on your sunglasses, because we're going to rank all 3 of the Killer Instinct guest characters. Starting things off is the first guest character to be announced for Killer Instinct, RASH from the Battletoads. Announced at Microsoft's E3 in 2015 to announce Season 3, he was playable through a beta test released alongside the rare replay. RASH was one of the 4 playable characters at Season 3's launch. RASH's playstyle is very fitting to the game that he comes from, being a rushdown character who focuses on closing in on the opponent for maximum damage. A lot of his special attacks and special moves are lifted right from various Battletoads titles, such as the Ram Charge, Boot Kick, Wrecking Ball, and Tongue Lash. Hey, sound familiar? His instinct is a clear reference to the infamous and insanely difficult Turbo Tunnel level. In this state, he summons projectiles to hit the opponent and can hop on to close in for more damage. His track is a remix of the Battletoads theme titled Enter the Battletoad, which is the first song of KI Season 3 composed by Atlas Plug and Cell Dweller. His ultra combo is also really cool, with the flashy musical strikes being a nod to the iconic pause beat from the NES Classic, albeit chiptuned and pretty hard to notice after your first few listens. RASH sadly does not have his own stage, unlike a majority of the Killer Instinct cast. His cosmetics are nice references to other Toads and rare games such as Banjo-Kazooie and Conker's Bad Fur Day. Come on, just give us another Conker game, damn it! Although RASH is one of the more fun characters to play as, his design really does clash with the more serious and dark tone of KI, making him stand out amongst the cast as the cartoon character. Besides that, he's one of the easier characters to jump in and play as. He was a welcome addition that brought in more guests and players to the series. He's just totally awesome.
These cameos are killing me.
Moving on to our second guest to enter the Season 3 roster is Halo's Thel 'Vidam, known as the Arbiter. Meant to promote Halo 5 Guardians, Arbiter was announced around the same time of Halo 5's launch, and with his design being based on the Halo 5 look. Like RASH, Arbiter was included in the launch roster for Season 3. Arbiter is one of the more interesting characters in the roster. He is equipped with his energy sword, one of the most iconic weapons from Halo, with his character trait being Combat Evolved. He also has plasma grenades and his carbine to use, which are extremely useful for juggles and recapturing the opponent, making for some interesting setups and gameplay. His specials range from overhead strikes, a frenzy of slashes, and the Prophet's Bane stab, being a clear reference to the death of the Prophet of Truth in Halo 3. Oh, spoilers by the way. His instinct is super useful and a great nod to Halo, where he gives himself Overshield, which can extend his health meter slightly, and has unlimited armor against projectiles. The shield fully recharges once after it's been broken and after not being attacked for a while. Additionally, he can parry with heavy punch and heavy kicks similar to Street Fighter 3, blocking all damage and ignoring oncoming attacks completely. So yeah, I guess I can say that's a pretty nifty instinct right there. Arbiter's theme, titled Champion of Sing Helos, is a love letter to Halo fans. It includes elements from the Halo theme and other tracks to fit Killer Instinct. His Ultra combo is a great reference to the iconic Halo score, which is assisted by 343 Industries and will make any Halo fan appreciate the musical score. Unlike RASH and General Rum, Arbiter is the only guest to have his own stage, being the Arena of Judgment from Halo 5. The stage has you fighting one-on-one with an elite war taking place in the background. Various elements take place as the fight continues, such as banshees firing and a scarab breaking through a giant wall. This also leads to a really cool stage ultra as well. His cosmetics are great as well. His costumes range from the Halo 5 design to the Halo 2 costume for his classic. Each of the accessories are references to different elite armor sets from Halo 1 all the way to Halo 5, which is great for any Halo fan and lover of cosmetics. Arbiter is a great inclusion for Killer Instinct. Similar to RASH, he is one of the more fun characters to play as in this game, but a bit harder to get the hang of because of his complex moveset. He's a great inclusion as he fits the Space Warrior archetype for this game, and it's great to see a Halo character in a fighting game that's not this. He's a character that evolved the combat of Killer Instinct for me.
Another victory, yes, but there is always another battle.
And the last guest character we'll be talking about is the final guest to appear in Season 3, which is Gears of War's General Rum. I'll have to admit this, getting in depth about Rum and his stuff was challenging for me since I never played a Gears of War game to this point, but at least I did my due diligence and researched more about the series that I'm unfamiliar with, so let's get into it. Rum was announced at Microsoft's E3 2016 showcase with a very short teaser. The same day of his announcement, he was playable for all Season 3 owners. His inclusion was meant to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the original Gears of War, which was later remastered for Xbox One. Rum is equipped with his ragged sword and specializes in hardcore grappling and damage over time combos. His special moves are focused on grapples and stabs with the sword, his Decimation command grab being a reference to Lieutenant Kim's death in Gears of War. He also specializes in krill attacks, summoning bat-like creatures to aid him in giving him armor and to charge at the opponent. His instinct, Krill Storm, fills the screen with enough bats for Batman to start crying for Alfred as the opponent builds potential damage and can enhance his Krill Shield. This gives the opportunity to cause a lot of damage to the opponent. His theme is probably one of the better themes in the entire Killer Cuts soundtrack. The track, For the Horde, being a remix of the Gears of War theme with mixes of some metal. His Ultra Combo music is really cool, but I wish I knew what track it was specifically referencing, so my apologies there. Rum's cosmetics are based on his classic design from the Gears 2006 and 2016, each of the cosmetics being based on Locust armor resembling characters like Scourge and other characters. Rum also lacks a stage, like RASH, but he usually shares a stage with Sidira and Riptor. In my honest opinion, Rum was a character I really wasn't looking forward to in his announcement, even though I was expecting a Gears character to appear. He's considered the least mobile character in the entire roster, with only one opener and linkers, but can excel when up close. For a fan of grapplers, you're definitely geared when you play as Rum. Now that we're done breaking down each of the guests, here is my final ranking of each of the characters. Just remember that these are my picks, and I would love to hear yours down below. Not all of us are going to agree, and I would love to have more of a discussion with you in the comments down below. With that, let's get to it. At the bottom we have Rom. Not too surprising based on my verdict I mentioned after breaking him down. In concept, I found him to be a cool character and one I could see Gears of War fans liking, but with glacial speeds that he moves at and limited combo strings is something that made me have a hard time enjoying my time with him. Although he does have one of my favorite tracks in the entire soundtrack. Of all the characters on the roster, he's the one I spent the least amount of time with. Our runner-up was hard for me to decide, but I ended up going with my favorite of the Battletoads, RASH. In terms of gameplay and music, RASH is an amazing inclusion to the game and definitely turned a lot of heads within the FGC. With the fun character, I do have to admit he does feel a bit out of place in terms of art and design. Other than that, I found this Toad to be a great addition to Killer Instinct. But coming in at number 1, we have the Arbiter. Rarely do we get to see first-person shooter characters included in fighting games. This is probably the best way to bring a shooter character in this genre while paying tribute to what he does best. His amazing music, fun gameplay, a guest stage, and a great fit to the universe helps place Arbiter at number 1. So there's my ranking of all 3 guest characters in Killer Instinct 2013. How do you rank each of these guest characters, and what is your ranking? Be sure to place your picks down below and I will surely get back to you. If you haven't already, consider dropping a like and clicking the subscribe button. While we're at it, consider sharing the video with the tag #BringBackKI. Killer Instinct is one of the best fighting games out there, and what really beat the odds of development hell and deserves another comeback. For the next few videos, we'll be returning to the realm of Mortal Kombat with more character rankings. I know many have been waiting for this character, and I guess you could say it's one that you're a big fan of. Stay tuned for more teases in the community tab or follow my Twitter for more. As always, thank you very much for tuning into this video. My name is Nick, and
Ultra Combo!